back to yet another video. Hope everyone is doing well. Obviously, as you saw from the previous video, we are now in Poland. I want to do some like exciting clips of like the traditions and stuff just to see what it's like, because obviously we've been to America, we're in the UK, and now we're in Poland, so it's just like all different clips here and there. But if you do see some clips from America, also shout out to my friends. If your friends don't record clips for your YouTube channel while you're not there, they're not your real friends. They went to a fair yesterday, so I'll put those in for you guys to see, just like a few clips. But if you don't know, then you know, a fair, you can have a look at American fair. But yeah, in Poland right now, today is like a special tradition where basically I'm in like a super tiny village. The villagers come together and they bake like all the goods and they cook all the good food, and basically they just celebrate like each other in the village. So I think it'll be really cool, because obviously it's something that we in the UK don't do, or in America they don't do. So I want to definitely record that. So I think we came on the perfect day. But so far, that's it. It's a Saturday. Relax. Still have to do some work, so never be lazy. But yeah, we'll see where the day takes us. And that was completely my fault. I guess I explained it wrong. It's basically where you celebrate like the crops and stuff from the summer. Apologize, but there was a bunch of food there, so we ended up getting classic Polish sausage. You can't go wrong. This is the, let's take it out. We got like pierogi and some other stuff. I don't know. My mum got it. But just some sort of cabbage stuff, I don't know. Anyway, but this is a pierogi, classic. I'll put in a little thing what's in there and things like that. But I assume it's going to be really, really good, because it's made by like all the OG ladies and all the, I don't know, they have like some clubs, I guess, which they make food and they sell it and stuff. So that's pretty interesting. But this is the pierogi. Here we go. And then you got cabbage and bread and stuff. So we'll do a taste test and see which one is the best. I already know this is going to be my all-time favorite. Oh, and also we actually got some free plums from the ladies, because they just said, oh, here's some free plums, right? Overall, I actually thought the pierogi were going to be the best, but I rate them the least, my least favorite. That like cabbage thing was the best. I honestly didn't expect it, but the cabbage, then the sausage, and then the pierogi. It was good. It's now the next day. It's only Sunday still, so the week hasn't really begun just yet. I have just finished doing the call with the students for all the pairs for the week, which I will, of course, share with you guys. The best one, my main focus is still USD CAD. I'll go through what I'm waiting for, like, specifically, but it was the same thing as last week. But I don't think there's anything too crazy that we have planned for today. It is Sunday, so just kind of relaxed. I think we are going to the cinema, but that's not really anything exciting for you guys. But yeah, I'll keep you posted. If I don't do anything today, then for sure on Monday. Oh, and since it is Sunday, obviously you can't have a Sunday without the classic Polish chicken soup. Let's jump into the pairs for the week. Obviously, the one and only USD CAD from last week still has to be in here, okay? This is still my number one pair. As I mentioned before, the main and only thing I'm really waiting for is for the daily to shift bearish, okay? Because this is our high, this is our high-low. I do need the daily to be bearish, as well as the 4-hour, to then have its break and retest down here, okay? So that's my main thing for USD CAD, just a simple break retest, shift to structure most importantly. NZD-JPY, we are still somehow bearish on the weekly time frame, with this being our low and this being our lower high. Obviously, until the weekly is bearish, we're still looking for those sells. But again, same situation as USD CAD. We do need the daily to shift bearish, okay? Because this is our high, this is our high-low. I'm waiting for a simple break retest to then sell. Same exact thing as before. AD CAD, I'm waiting for some sort of pullback into either area in order to sell, because it's still nowhere near our area of interest. Same with AUD-JPY. We're still very much so at the top. We need to be retesting an area of interest in order for us to be able to wait for a reaction. But yeah, that's really it. Nothing too crazy. USD CAD for sure my number one pair, with the daily shifting bearish. Hopefully we don't continue to create high highs and high lows anymore, and we finally have that push towards the downside. But we'll see how it plays out, and we'll see if we do end up taking any positions, hopefully. But if not, again, it is all part of the process. Okay, quick trade update. It is currently 11. I'm whispering because it's way past my bedtime. 11, just after the daily time frame has now shifted bearish. This was a high, low. We have body close below, creating a new low. So all that means that we are waiting for is the 4-hour to morning. It is the next day, currently Tuesday. I know I showed you guys the clip before this one, me whispering because it was late, way past my bedtime like I mentioned. But I didn't end up staying up too long. I just had my alarm set like every 2 hours or something. Something I do just so you don't have to stay up all night. But USD CAD update, we are still making our way to the area of interest, so nothing as of yet, because as you can see, obviously this is on the 4 hour time frame. We've had that break, we just need it to retest that area, and then we can look for the sales. But general plan for today, I think just chilling. This is more of like a relaxed, small village kind of trip, I guess. But to this, it's called like, put it on the screen. It's basically a place, like this food place. I'm super excited because they're going to have like really good food there, like typical Polish food. So I'm excited, obviously, to take you guys with me and see what we get. But yeah, apart from that, just chill and just doing some random stuff, I guess. Review regards to the little bar thing we went to, super good, literally the best food I've ever had. I've been to Poland many times, but I've never had the chance to go to a place like that, sadly. However, we went to KFC, they have a bunch of stuff, they literally have churros, so we got those. I haven't tried them yet, with obviously a little bit of chocolate and just a bunch of random stuff. Corn on the cob, my favourite. I just wanted to show you that they have churros. It's just funny because I've never seen a KFC have churros, which is cool. But anyways, that'll be all. Trade updates. As I was saying before, I don't know if you could hear me, but that bar we went to, the literal translation is like milk bar. Obviously, it's not like a milk bar, but it's just like they make all the foods and it's just super good like that. It's all fresh, and honestly, it was really good. I don't know how I've never been to one of those before, but honestly, incredible. So if anybody comes to Poland and you get a chance to go to like a milk bar, literal translation English, but very, very good. Recommend 100%. But trade update. As you can see, the daily time frame has in fact shifted bearish, as we talked about this morning. So all we need is a retest. However, one thing to be careful of is the 4 hour is creating a lower low with a potential lower high. So as we have this pullback, be mindful that we will technically be shifting bullish. So we have to be mindful, oh, can we have a pullback to this area and then enter here? You can. The risk is that if price does, even on the daily time frame, have a pullback to here, we will be getting stopped out. But just keep in mind, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to see how it reacts to see if we can find an area of interest here, which I can already see one, and how price reacts to that area of interest once we get to it. Because as we have this pullback to the main area of interest, we'll be shifting bullish. So just keep that in mind. Another day, still no trade, but we are getting very, very close. Honestly, I feel like every day we just get food and just do the same thing over again, but it is worth it. Food is honestly really, really, really good. So as I was telling you guys yesterday, I'll flip the camera so you can see. I'll show it on my phone, not on the laptop, so it's quicker. The 4 hour is having a retest at the moment. We have kind of tapped into the zone, so I'll see if we get a clear rejection, and then I can look for those sales. But if we don't, like I was saying, ideally, this is our original area of interest. I would want us to retest this area of interest. Then we'll be shifting bullish, then shift bearish, as obviously we have that break and retest of the neckline on the daily as well. But if we don't, and price on the 4 hour time frame just retest the zone, that will also be fine. But I need a clean rejection because price could easily just push up higher. So I'll see if I enter. I'll let you guys know. But for now, just again, the waiting game. It is now Thursday, and as you know, we have still not entered a trade, okay? This is such a good example of me not trading, right? Because I'm still looking at the charts every day. I'm still looking, well, it doesn't have to be like hours. It's just like a glance each day to see, set my alerts. If this goes off, then you look at this. If it doesn't, but the most important aspect is to be able to adapt, okay? Because if you see, even at the start of the week, when we broke down the pairs, broke down USD CAD, what are we waiting for? A simple break and retest. But sometimes that simple break and retest turns into something 10 times more complicated, right? That's why you have to change, right? What I'm about to show you, I'm going to do an actual breakdown when I'm on the charts, not just like a flip the camera real quick, because that's what trading is about, right? I'm waiting for the high probability setups, but they don't always happen like that. I need to be able to adapt and not make sure I don't miss out on a trade, right? Because let's say I'm waiting for the 4 hour to shift bearish, but it keeps creating a new high, 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 low. My area of interest for the shifter structure can move up, right? As long as everything else is still in play. I know it probably sounds weird to you guys now, but if you understood the whole picture, it makes sense. So I'm going to show you what USD CAD is doing now. Ideally, this is my ideal scenario right now. Hopefully, continues to play out. It is already Thursday, so keep that in mind. Maybe we'll have a trade, but I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure. Probably not, but we'll see patience is the key here. I would much rather wait and then get rewarded or stopped out, you never know. But we wait and see what happens. So let's get on the charts. Let's have a look at the charts. So quick rundown of what we've been looking for this week. Essentially, this is the daily time frame. We were waiting for the daily time frame to shift bearish. As you can see, that has happened over here. We have shifted, then we are anticipating a daily retest, right? Absolutely lovely. But as you know, throughout the week, we have been looking at multiple different options just in case one thing doesn't happen. We don't want to be missing out on trades. So if you remember me talking about backup plan, if the 4-hour time frame doesn't reach this original area of interest, then we have found this small area of interest on the 4-hour time frame. I was waiting, okay, the price has gone way lower than expected. If it has this retest and rejection off of this zone, that's fine. We can then wait for a clean rejection to then look for those sells. But obviously, if it does retest the original area of interest, it will be shifting bullish, okay? Because as you can see, this is our lower low, this is our lower high. Price has created a higher low. So technically, all we need now is the 4-hour to have a break, retest, clear rejection to then look for those sells, okay? Because then we'll be shifting back bearish. But we also had another scenario, which obviously it's good to have more than one because you don't want to be missing out on trades if the exact thing that you want doesn't play out. And I don't mean if, for example, you're looking for sales and the weekly decides to shift bullish, don't force the sales then, okay? I just mean like if everything is still good, the trade's still valid until price shifts bullish on the daily, which is until this area. So we still have plenty of room for the daily to push up, and the daily could even hover around this zone for a while, right? But I just mean being able to adapt and react to what the market does so you don't miss out on a trade, right? But anyway, so if we didn't get the retest here, if we didn't get the retest on the lower 4-hour area of interest either, then we're just waiting for a simple break and retest on the daily time frame, since we are not only retesting the area of interest, but we are also retesting the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern, okay? So that's also an extra confluence. That's great. Price is really looking for those sells. But, if we did get that retest here and then lovely rejection, I didn't want to miss out on the trade just in case price had the break and never had the retest, right? So that's where you have to start thinking, okay, I've got this and I'm waiting for this specific thing, but can I react and can I change to it? If it's not clean, then absolutely don't. Don't force anything and things like that. But just always keep in mind other options that could happen. It's not always going to follow exactly what you say. So be able to make sure you're able to adapt and react. But anyway, so at the moment, obviously, all we're waiting for is the 4-hour to have a break and retest to then sell. The 4-hour could very easily just have a push continuing up that way throughout the week. Obviously, it is already Thursday, so we only have today and tomorrow left of the week. Ideally, I would want it to hover in and around this area. So if we go back to the daily time frame, today it can close like this. Then tomorrow it could be like, pushing up to here, and then on Monday it can finally have that break and that retest on the 4-hour time frame. That would be ideal. The 4-hour could still, shift bearish, but you have to ask yourself, do we have enough time for that to happen? Maybe not. That's a question that you can ask yourselves. But yes, that's what we really need at the moment. I'm very happy for price to, push up a little bit higher. And as I mentioned before, the daily can have, another retest, push up a little bit higher until as long as we're below, in between the low, high, we're absolutely fine. So that's really the update. I'm glad I'm doing it this week because I want you guys to see that, yes, we wait for a specific thing, but if it doesn't happen, there's been many times where I was like, okay, maybe it's coming close to an entry, but then price decides to do something else. So that's why it's good to kind of look at the bigger picture and take things that way. But anyway, that's what we're waiting for. We'll see what happens, and I don't know if we'll have a trade this week. If we don't, that's absolutely fine. That's the whole point. Quality over quantity any day. Less is more. You don't need a massive trading account to make money and to be able to just take one trade a week or one trade a month. All you need is a skill. Once you have the skill, you can get funded. I'm really trying to break that myth with you guys. If you learn the skill, the possibilities are endless. Honestly, you don't need money. You don't need anything like that. You just need effort, time, discipline, and once you have the skill, you're all good to go. But yeah, let's see what happens. Ideally, I don't want to be holding over the weekend, so hopefully it plays out on Monday, Tuesday, and then we can take it from there. Super quick side note. If you come to Poland and you go to a petrol station, okay, you have to get a Polish hot dog. I personally think it is the best hot dog I've had. So 100% recommend. Yeah, see, my mum approves. Very, very good. We'll do it. I'm not going to eat it now, but I just wanted to side note here. Has to be done. Has to be done. With all that being said, that will conclude this week's video. Thank you so much to each and every single one of you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. We are back home. Hopefully we get trade next week, but if not, that is just how it goes. Thank you guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you guys on the next one.